Hello students, this is Vaishali Korea and in this video we'll continue our discussion on character arrays and strings. Now we had seen the different programs for copying one string into another string, then comparing whether two strings are same or not, right? So for all this functionality, there are certain inbuilt functions in C language. Those functions can be used by including the string.h header file. Okay, so we'll see the demo of those functions at what is the name of the function, what can be the arguments, what is the return type, what it will actually return after executing its functionality. Okay. So here in this program there are three character arrays are taken in which we can store the strings, right? Now this getS function is used to take the values of s1 and s2 from the user. So user can enter two strings here. Okay, now one function that is called here is strcmp, right? Now this function is used to compare two strings to check whether they are same or not, right? So here in this function we have passed two arguments s1 and s2, right? We have the values of these two character arrays from this getS function. Okay, now you can see here that the return value of this function is stored in x and x is the integer. Okay, so that means what? That this strcmp function will return the integer value. Okay, so what actually it will do? So we'll see the example here. See, when you call this function, s1 and s2 will be compared, that whether they are containing the same characters or not in the same sequence. Okay, so if x is equal to 0, means if this function is returning 0, that means the two strings which are stored in s1 and s2 are same. Okay, so what does it mean, or what is the return type of the strcmp? It is integer. If the two strings are same, it will return 0, and if two strings are not same, then it will return the ASCII difference of the first non-matching character. Okay, so suppose s1 is hi, right, and s2 is hello, and you are calling the strcmp function on these two strings, right? So the first character is same, but the second character is not same, right? So in this case, when the two strings are not same, it will returns the difference of the ASCII value of the first non-matching character. That means it will return I minus E. Okay, so subtraction is performed on the ASCII values of this I and E. Okay, now in this program there is one condition written, that if x is not equal to 0, means if both the strings are not same, right? Because if they are same, x would be 0, right? If both the strings are same, the strcmp function will return 0. So if x is not equal to 0, that means these two strings are not same. Okay, so that message is printed here, right? And then after, another function has been called strcat, and the parameters of this function are s1 and s2. So we can pass two character arrays in this function. Now what is the task of this function? So strcat will join two strings. It will concatenate two strings. Okay, so if x is not equal to 0, then we have to join these two strings, and if it is 0, then we have to print that strings are same, right? So here the values of s1 and s2 in this program are what? Welcome, and the s2 is student, right? So obviously these strings are not same, so here the message is printed that strings are not same, and then this strcat function is called. Okay, now what can be the return type or return value of this strcat function? So what it will do, it will append the characters of s2 to the s1. Okay, so from these two arguments the value of s1 will get updated. Okay, so you can see here, after performing this function strcat, or after executing this function, if you print the value of this s1 string, then it will be now welcome students. Initially it was welcome only S1, right? But after calling the strcat function, the value of S1 would get changed, right? And the characters of S2 will be appended to it. So now the value of S1 is welcome students. Okay, but if you see the value of this S2 using this put s function, right, it will not be changed. Only S1 will get changed. So your answer will be stored in the first argument of strcat function. Okay, so this is strcat function. Now the next is the strcpy, right? So that function is for copying the one string into another string. Okay, so here you can see that there are two arguments, s3 and s1, right? S1 is a source string and S3 is a destination string. That means you want to this function will copy the characters of S1 to S3. Okay, so the value of this S1 is welcome students, right? And when you are calling this strcpy function, you are copying the characters of S3 to S1 to S3. Okay, and when you, after calling this function, when you print the value of this S3, you can see the contents are same as S1. Okay, so this is how you can call the strcpy function. Okay, now another function is strlen, string length. It will find out the number of characters in a string, right, excluding the null character, right? So if you call the strlen function on s1, right, so it will print it will count the number of characters in the s1 string. So here you can see that the string s1 is welcome students and its length is 15. So this message will be printed by this printf function, right? So strlen function will accept one string or one character array as argument, right? And it will return the integer value which specifies the length of the string. Okay, same way the strlen s2, right? So this will return the 8. It will count the characters of the student's string. Okay, so it will return 8, and s3 is also again the same as s1, so its length is 15. Okay, so here in this we have just seen four string handling functions. First is strcmp to compare two strings, right? It will return 0 if the strings are same, and it will return the ASCII difference of the first non-matching characters if the strings are not same. Okay, strcat function, it will append the characters of s2 to s1, so s1 will be updated, it will get modified. Okay, the next function is strcpy. This function will copy the contents of string s1 to s3, and if there are already contents in the s3, it will be replaced by the s1. Okay, then the fourth function is strlen to find out the length of the string which is given as an argument, and it will return the integer value. Okay, so the next function is strncpy. This function will copy the n characters of the second argument to the first argument string. Okay, so to see the demo of this function, here we have taken two strings s1 and s2, right? Character arrays are declared. Using the getS function, we can take the value at runtime, right? So we have taken here the value of s1 and s2 from the user. So suppose user has entered welcome and student, right, in s1 and s2. Okay, then after the function is called strncpy s1 s2 5. That means what? 5 characters of s2 will be copied to string s1. Okay, so you can see here in this output that first 5 characters of the s2 stude, right, these characters are copied to the s1. So you can see the changed value of s1 here, stude. These are the first 5 characters of s2, and the remaining characters of s1 are same. Okay, so after calling this function, if you print the value of this s1 string, right, then it will be like this: studeme. Okay, first five characters of s2 and the remaining characters are of s1. Okay, now we will check the next output. Okay, so here in the next output, the first string is high. Okay, and the second string is again students, and you want to copy the five characters of s2 to s1. So what happens, this high will be replaced with the contents of the s2. Okay, but the size of this s1 is 2 only, right? And here we want to copy the five characters to that particular s1 string. Okay, so after five characters there is no null here, right? So there is no null in the s1. Okay, so when you try to print the s1 value using the putS function, putS function is generally used to print the content of a character array which is a string, right? And when it can be considered as a string, when there is a null character at the end. But here you have copied the five characters to the s1, so obviously null is also replaced. Okay, so in that case s1 is merely a group of characters, not a string, because there is no null at the end. Okay, so when you print the s1 using this putS function, right, it will print the first five character correctly, stude, right, but the remaining positions you can have the garbage value, you may have the garbage values. Okay, so this is because of the problem of the null character which is not in the s1 for this kind of input. Okay, so so what can be the solution to it? So that we'll see in the next. Okay, so we'll see the solution to it. So the same input is taken here, high and students, right? And then we are calling the function again with the same arguments, s1, s2, and 5, right? So the first five characters of s2 will get copied to s1. So now the s1 is stude, right? So from index 0 to 4, we have the first five characters, right? So now the at position 5, right, s1 of 5, we are explicitly assigning this null character at in that location. So after copying the first five characters of s2, the next location is s1 of 5, and then we are assigning the null character. So now this s1 will be considered as a string, right? So when you print the s1 using the putS function, right, you can see that the output is perfect, stude, without any garbage values. Okay, now next is the strncmp function. Again this function will compare the two strings, right, but only the n characters. Okay, not the entire string will get compared, only n characters of the given strings will be compared. Okay, so here also two strings are taken, s1 and s2. User will enter the value at runtime. Okay, and here also we have to enter the number of characters that we need to compare, right? So here using the scanf, a user will enter the number of characters. Okay, so you can see the first output here. uh, the string s1 is high and the string s2 is hive. Okay, and we want to compare only the two characters, first two characters. So hi and hi, both the characters are same, right? So the output is 0. Okay, here also you can see we have called the function here strncmp s1 s2 n, right? N is entered by the user, right? And the output of this function is printed using this percentage d. So that means this function is uh, returning the integer value. And the same rule that if the two strings, right, but here the n characters, so if the first n characters of both the strings are same, then it will return 0. Here you can see that the answer is 0. Okay, and we'll see that what if the characters are not same. Okay, so here you can see that a first string is hi, high, and the second string is hive, hive. Okay, so we want to compare here the first three characters of both these strings. Okay, so here two characters are same, but the third character here would be null, and here that is V. Okay, so what it will return? It will return the ASCII difference of the first non-matching character. So what it will do? It will uh, return the ASCII value of null minus ASCII value of V, right? And the ASCII value of V is 118 and the ASCII value of this null is 0. So it will return minus 118. Okay, the ASCII difference of the first non-matching character. Okay, now we'll see the third output in which we have just swapped the contents of a string. S1 is HIVE and S2 is HI, right? Now when you want to compare again the first three characters of both the strings, right? Now it will again give the ASCII difference of the first non-matching character. Okay, but here it will perform the operation like ASCII value of V minus ASCII value of null, right? So 118 minus 0, so it will be 118, positive number, and here there is a negative number. Okay, so remember this thing. The next is strncat function. Again the value of or the characters of one string will be appended to the characters of another string, right? But here only n characters we have to append. Okay, so again two character arrays, take the value from the user using the getas function. Okay, and here also we have to enter the number of characters from S2, right, that we want to join in S1. Okay, so that value is taken using the scanf function. And now here in this statement we have called the functions strncat s1 s2 n. So n characters of S2 will be appended to S1. Okay, so after concatenation we'll see what is the value of S1. Okay, because our result will be stored in S1. S1 will get updated. So the S1 string is Sachin and S2 string is Ramesh Tendulkar. Okay, and here we have entered 6, that 6 characters from S2 we want to append in S1. Okay, so when we call this function and then print the value of S1, we'll have this kind of string Sachin Ramesh. Okay, and whenever we are using this CAT function, whether it is strcat or strncat, you have to be careful by for assigning the size of the first string, right? It should be large enough to accommodate the characters of S2 also. Okay, now next is str function. Okay, now this function will actually check for the presence of the substring in another string. Okay, so here two strings are taken, s1 and s2. Take the enter the value at runtime from the user. Okay, now what we will check here, that s2 is present in s1 or not. Okay, and here we'll understand the output, that what this str function will return. Okay, so here you can see the first string is hi all good morning. Okay, and the s2 is all, and what we have to check, we want to check that whether this s2, this string all, is present in s1 or not, right? So that is possible using the str function. Okay, so it is present, we can see from the input that all is the part of the s1, right? So what it will return in this case when the s2 is a substring of s1. Okay, so to understand the output we have used one printf here, right? So in the printf what we have printed, address of the s1 is %u, and at the place of %u we have printed s1. S1 is actually an array name. Okay, and remember one thing, that array name always contains the address of the first element. Okay, so if you are writing S1, or if you are writing address of S10, this element S10, right? Both the things are same. Both the things will have the same value. Okay, so array name always contains the address of the first element. Okay, so here when I am printing the S1 value using the percentage U is generally used to print the unsigned integer values. Okay, actually we are trying to print an address, and addresses are always unsigned values. Okay, addresses cannot be negative. So to print the unsigned values, this is the format specifier percentage U. Okay, now we'll see that what is the output of this S1. So see, address of the S1 is 6356716, right? And this is actually the address of the first element of S1. That means it is an address of S1 of 0, or you can also say that it is an address of this H. Okay, now str function is actually returning the address of the S2 in S1, right? That from where the S2 is started in S1. If S2 is a substring of S1, right? So what is the location of that, right? So actually what we need to do, we need to find out the presence or the location of all in S1. Okay, so what it can be, see, this is 6356716 address of H. So the address of I would be like 717, then 718 and 719. So the address of this A is 719, right? So it will print this address. str function will print the location of the substring in S1. Okay, so from where the S2 is started in S1, so that location will be printed. Okay, this is the case if the S2 is a substring of S1. But suppose our input is like this, that S1 is hi all good morning and S2 is student. We want to find the string students from S1. So it is not there, right? So in this case, it will actually return null. So that is represented by 0 in the output. Okay, so if the S2 is a substring of S1, right, it will print the location of S2 in S1. Okay, and if the S2 is not a substring, then it will return null. Okay, and when you print the null like this, it will generally print the 0 as output. Okay, so this is str function, right? The next function is strchr. Okay, so strchr function will find out a particular character from a string, right? It will locate a character from a string, and if the character is present, it will return the address of that character in a particular string, right? And if it is not present, it will return null. Okay, so same thing, s1 s2, take the value from the user. Here actually s2 is not required, only one string needs to be entered. So get as s1, so we have entered welcome here. Okay, then we are entering the value of the character, right, that we want to find from a string, right? So enter the character to locate in s1. So suppose we want to find e, whether e is present in welcome or not. Okay, so here also it will return the address, but how we can check whether we are getting the correct output or not? Okay, so what we can do, we can just find out the address of the first element of a string, right? So that is possible by printing the name of the array s1 using the percentage u specifier, format specifier. Okay, so when you print s1, it will print the address of the w, first character of the string. So if it is 6356715, right? So where the E could be, obviously at the 716, because character is taking only one byte. So the next location would be the address of the E. Okay. So this function strchr will return the address, right? That is 6356716, address of E. Okay. So the location of this E in S1 is this. And again, if the character is not present, suppose the string is welcome and you want to search for A. So A is not present in the S1. So in that case it will return null. Okay, now the next function is strrchr. Again it will check for a particular character from a string, okay, but the last occurrence of that character. strchr function that we had seen previously, that will return the first occurrence of a character, and this strrchr function will return the address of the last occurrence of a character from a string. Okay, so here the example is s1, take the value from the user. Suppose the string is welcome only. Enter the character that you want to search using getChar function. Suppose that character is E. Okay, and here this the address of the s1 means the address of the first element w, right? So that is 6356715. Okay, so what can be the output of this strrchr function, right? So from s1 we want to find out this character which is stored in the c variable. Okay, so it will print the last occurrence, this last e. Okay, so it would be 6356721. This is 715, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20 and 21, right? So it will print the, or it will give the address of the last occurrence of a given character from the given string. Okay, so this is how this strrchr function works. Okay, now we summarizes the functions that we had studied, right? All these functions can be used by including the string.h header file in the program. Okay, this consider the s1 and s2 two strings that can be declared using the character array, right? N is an integer and c is the character. Okay, so the first function is strcat, so it will take two parameters s1 and s2, right? Now here the s2 can be any other string also that you can use in the double quote, right? So it can be string constant also. So instead of s2 you can also write like in the double quote abc, right? So that will take place of this s2, right? So you can call your function strcat, right, using this s1, and here you can write any string constant as a second parameter. Okay, so the abc would be appended to the s1. Okay, so the action of this function is it will join the character of the s2 to s1. Okay, and the updated value, that means your result, you can see in the s1 in the first parameter of the function. Okay, now the next function is strcmp. So this function will compare the two strings. Okay, now here also in the strcmp function, instead of this s1 and s2 you can use the string constant also. Okay, so you can write here in the argument in double quote one string comma double quote another string like abc abd, so that is possible to write. Okay, the action of this function is it will compare the two strings, and the return type of this function is integer. Okay, so it will return the integer after executing, right? So if two strings are same, it will return 0, and if two strings are not same, then it will return the ASCII difference of the first non-matching characters. Okay, the next function strcpy, it will copy s2 to s1. Again here you can just have a string constant in place of this s2. Okay, so it will copy s2 to s1, right, and the updated value you can find in the s1. The next function is strlen. Okay, so it will find the length of the string, right? So here also you can have the string constant in place of the abc, so it will return the integer that will indicate the length of the string. Okay, strncpy, so it will copy leftmost n characters of s2 to s1. Okay, and updated values will be in s1. Okay, the next function is strncmp. It will compare the first leftmost n characters of s1 and s2. Okay, and if the characters are same, it will return 0. If they are not same, then it will return the ASCII difference of the non-matching character. Okay, and if S1 is less than, means its length is less than S2, then there will always be a negative number, otherwise positive number. Okay, str and cat, so it will concatenate leftmost n characters of S2 to end of S1. Okay, and result you can see in the S1 itself. Str function will accept the two string, right? It can be any S2 can be the string constant, right? So this function will locate the substring S2 in S1. Okay, now here what it will return? So it will return the address of the location of S2 in S1. Okay, so its return type is integer. As it is returning address, addresses are always integers. Okay, so return type is integer or null. Okay, so here null if the substring is not found in S1, otherwise address of the first occurrence of S2 in S1. Okay, strchr locate the first occurrence of character C in S1. Again it will also return the address integer or the null. So null if not found, and address of the first occurrence of C in S1 if found. Okay, strrchr function, so it will locate the last occurrence of character C in S1. Okay, so null and integer, they may be the two return types. Okay, so null if C is not found, and address of the last occurrence of C character which is stored in C in S1. Okay, if the character is found. Next is what if we want to store the table of strings, right? That means from the previous discussion, what we had concluded that if we declare the character array of certain size, we can store one string into that. Okay, but what if I want to store a list of names, list of city names, or list of student names, right, in one array? So how it is possible, right? So if you want to store the list of cities, right, then one character array is not sufficient because it can store only one name, right? So if you want to store the list of cities, you can store it using the two-dimensional character array. Okay, so here the example is given city 1020. The character, sorry, the data type of this is character. Okay, so what does it mean? So here the city is the name of the array, right? 10 is the size of the first dimension. Okay, so what does this 10 mean? It is used to store a name of 10 cities. So ultimately this 10 is the number of strings that we can store in this city array. Okay, where this second dimension size 20 is the length of each string, that this many characters you can store in each string. Okay, so this city array is used to store a name of 10 cities where each city's name will not be more than 20 characters. Okay, now we see the example. Here one city array has been taken of character size and it is a two-dimensional array. So the first dimension means we can store 4 strings and each string cannot have more than 15 characters. Okay, so this is the initialization. We have declared the array and at the same time we are also giving the values. So Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadodara, Rajkot, these are the 4 city names that we have stored in this city array. Okay, now the representation of this array is like this. Okay, city 0, right, using the first dimension, city 0 is Ahmedabad. So the Ahmedabad will be stored like this. These are the indices, second index. Okay, if we say this first dimension with I, so this value of I would be 0, 1, 2, 3, right, and the second dimension is J. Okay, so city 0, city 1, city 2, city 3. These are the 4 strings. Okay, so if you access this city 0, it would be Ahmedabad. If you access this city 2, it would be Vadodara, like this. Okay, and J is used to just access the individual element of a string. Okay, so if you write city 2, 2, right? That means you want to access the value in city 2, which is Vadodara, and this 2 means the third character. That means this D, right? This 2, 2. Okay. Now, if you want to find out the certain character of a given string stored in the city array, so if the element is suppose k3, 6, no, not 3, 6. Let's take 3, 1. Okay, so 3 means third string, okay, and 1 means the second character. So this element has the value A. Okay, this one, right? Okay, so next is how we can print this city names. Okay, so as we had discussed that the names of the cities are stored in city 0, city 1 like this. Okay, so if you want to print, then you have to obviously take a for loop, right? Because there are 4 strings that we need to print. Okay, and each string is stored in like city 0, 1, 2. So indices are from 0 to 3. So we can use the for loop, right? We'll print the message that city 0 is, city 1 is. So we want to print this message before printing actual city name. Okay. If when you print city of I, where I takes the value from 0 to 3, right? So it will print the actual city name. City 0 would be Ahmedabad, city 1 is Surat, like this. Okay, so we have used the put as function to print the city names. Okay. Now, next is if we want to print the characters of the cities, right? Then what we can do here, see, the first following are the city names, right? So that message is printed here. Okay, now here we are printing another message in the for loop that characters in city percentage %d are, where the percentage %d will take the value of I. So characters in city 0 are, characters in city 1 are. Okay, but here actually we do not want to print the entire city name, we will print the individual characters. Okay, so for the characters we have to again take a for loop, right? So here we have to use the concept of the inner for loop. Okay, so this for loop is for accessing one city name, and this for loop is used to access the individual characters from that city name. Okay, so here I is equal to 0 means we are just talking about the first city name, Ahmedabad. Okay, and this inner for loop will execute from j is equal to 0, and it will be incremented every time, but how many times it should be executed, right? So that will be depending on the number of characters in this string. Okay, and the number of characters can be found using the strlen function. Okay, so j would start with 0, right, and it will execute up to the length of the name which is stored in this city of I. So when I is equal to 0, this for loop will be executed up to the length of Ahmedabad. Okay, and using the percentage %c, it will print the individual character using the two dimensions ij, where I is equal to 0 during the first iteration of the outer for loop, right? And j will take the value from 0 to the length of the Ahmedabad. Okay, so here in this case you can just calculate, count the number of characters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Total 9 characters are there. So this will execute up to 0 to 8. Okay, after that the j's for loop, the for loop with this j would get completed, right? And then after I will get incremented, so the value of I is 1, and again the for loop will be executed. Okay, so the value of I is 1, so the Surat city is accessed, right? And using this j, that will execute from again 0 to the length of this Surat, right? So it will execute up to 4, 0 to 4, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. The last character is this. The length of this Surat is 5. Okay, so I less than 5, so it will execute up to 4. Okay, so using this two subscript I and j, you can print the or you can access the individual characters of the strings which are stored in this two-dimensional array city. Now, in the previous slide, we have seen that how to initialize, how to print the entire city name or the characters. Okay, but what if we want to take the name of the city from the user? Right, because every time every application doesn't require the same city names, we have to enter the different city names, right? So for that, the user should be given facility to enter the name of the city. Okay, so for that we can use this getAs function, and obviously this function will also be written inside the for loop, right? Because we want to scan four city names, right? Based on the declaration, you can see four strings can be stored, each of the length not more than 15. Okay, so first city name that is entered by the user should be stored in series of 0, then 1, 2. So we have taken here the for loop, and getAs function will be executed 4 times, right? And whatever user enters will be stored in the respective array element. Okay, now simple, when we want to print it, we can use the same for loop, but here we can use the putS function or the printf function to print the city names. So this is it for the today's video. Thank you.